Okay, the time is now 6 p.m. Our regular city council meeting for November 12, 2024 is now in session. First on the agenda is Councilmember Brown will lead us with the opening prayers and the pledges of allegiance to the flags of the United States and the state of Texas. Please rise.
Good evening. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for the freedom we exercise and the many blessings of democracy we enjoy in our United States of America. We ask for your protection and guidance for all who devote themselves to our common good. We thank you for the freedom to elect our leaders by popular vote and thank those that serve the good of the community. Lord, protect our local officials and first responders and those brave men and women that serve in our military. Unite us, O Lord, with a common purpose, dedication, and commitment to our community. Now and in the years ahead, let us pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. All right, first on the agenda, we have employee introductions. First is we have engineering.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm so excited to be back again to introduce yet another new person in engineering. And yes, it's a new person, not a replacement person. So we still have Serena, but now we have Faith also. Faith Tercero Phillips has strong connections to Schertz. She's gone to Pascal, Wilder, Corbett, Clemens, and then she took a trip up 35 and went to UT in Austin. Yay, civil engineering. She's interested in civil engineering because it's math and creativity put together, wanting to get involved with the community, and there you have it, civil engineering. Faith has played the cello. She has been a mentor to other students while she was in college. She's worked a variety of jobs, pet sitting, matengas, all kinds of fun things there, as well as a civil engineering firm in San Antonio, or in Austin, sorry, during college. She's crafty, she likes thrifting and estate sales, and we are thrilled to have her. She's really brought a ray of sunshine into our department, and so welcome, Faith.
Please.
Thank you all very much for the opportunity. I'm excited to learn everything I can about the city and hopefully contribute to the town I grew up in.
Welcome to our team. Next, we have animal control. No, all right, police department.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I have the pleasure of introducing one of our newest officers, Javon Cardwell. He comes to us all the way from Cibolo, Texas.
Oh.
He was actually born in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where his father was a combat medic, but his father was stationed here in the area, and his father and mother currently work for the government, and he went to Cibolo and graduated from Steele in 2018. He then went to Oklahoma State, where he played football, and then he transferred here to UTSA and played for the Roadrunners. He graduated with his bachelor's in kinesiology, and he just graduated in August of this year from the law enforcement of ACOG, and we welcome him to our team.
very honored to meet you all. Just like my father, who was military, I'm excited to be able to serve in a different way for the community. Growing up here, just like Faith herself, it's home to me, so I'm proud to serve and be a part of the family.
Well, welcome to our team. Next, we have Water and Wastewater Services. Oh, one more. I missed that one. Okay, sorry about that, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Williams. I'm your Police Chief, Jim Lowry. Tonight I'm going to welcome a newest member of the command team. This is Assistant Chief Philip Waller. He goes by Elliot. He was born in Beaumont, Texas, moved to New Orleans in 1994, moved to Lakeland, Florida in 1997. He graduated from George Jenkins High School in 2001. Their mascot is the Eagles. He attended the University of South Florida until joining the Police Academy in 2002. Took college courses at the State College of Florida and graduated with a Bachelor of Applied Science in Public Safety and Emergency Management. Began at the Bradenton, Florida Police Department in May of 2003 and retired as a captain in September of 2024 to accept a position here as Assistant Chief of the Schertz Police Department. His wife is Kristen, has two children, Caleb 17 and Caden 9 years. They're out, actually Kristen was here this weekend looking for a house, and the two boys are still in Florida. They're anxious to get here and see his dad and get back in with him. His hobbies include fitness, primary strength training and cardio, and or high intensity training 3 to 4 times a week. He's trying to relearn to play the electric bass. He loves to play video games. He said he can be a nerd at times. He says he did enjoy boating in Florida and associated activities, snorkeling with the kids, going to sandbars and islands, and bringing the kids tubing. He said he will be discovering some new hobbies here in Texas. One of the nice surprises about Chief Waller is the fact he assisted us on an accident call as soon as upon being hired, and we quickly learned that he is bilingual in Spanish, which is a great enhancement for our team. Please help me welcome Assistant Chief Elliot Waller as our newest member, again, of the PD Executive Team.
Mayor Gutierrez, Council, Mr. Williams, I've been here now for almost 2 months, and so far I can tell I've made a great choice. City of Schertz has been a fantastic opportunity. It's been very welcoming, and I look forward to everything I can do in the next 15 to 20 years. So thank you.
Next, we have Water and Wastewater Services.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have 2 new members of our Water Wastewater Department tonight. The first one is Mr. Zach Eaton. He is our new Water Wastewater Superintendent. He's born in San Antonio, attended Judson High School. He started the water business way back in 2008, so he's got ample experience to bring with him. He's been married for about 12 years now, has 4 kids, a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, 13-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Claims that all of his free time is consumed by his kids' activities. One of them is a competitive shooter for Madison ROTC. One plays baseball, one plays softball, and the youngest so far just goes with the flow. Used to play a lot of softball, but really just enjoys hiking and camping right now.
I want to thank y'all for the opportunity. I'm hoping that the 16 years that I'm bringing from my previous job is welcomed and I could help succeed.
Oh, welcome to our team. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And we also have Mr. Anthony Lopez. His sister, a brother, 2 dogs. His favorite part of the job so far is the people. His dream vacation spot is Germany. Favorite hobby is photography and going to the gym. And his favorite sport and team is baseball and the Angels.
Hi, thank you so much for this opportunity. I know I am young. I am 19, so this is my first adult job. As you can see, I am a little nervous. For my good couple of years that I've lived here in the city of Schertz. I've just loved the area, though this job has opened my eyes of how big it actually is, surprisingly. But I am still enjoying it, and I'm learning a lot, especially from all the people that I'm working with now. So I just want to thank you guys for this opportunity and letting me learn with you all. Thank you.
Welcome to our team. Next on the agenda is a presentation of the Schertz Young Leaders Class of 2025. It's Cassie.
Sorry, this wouldn't download, so hopefully it works okay online. Good evening, Council, Mayor, Mr. Williams. I'm here to introduce you guys to the new class of the Schertz Young Leaders. So they just had their first session in class with our leadership consultant, Jay Johnson, this past week. But we actually kicked things off back in October. We did a leadership retreat to Georgetown, and they did a ropes course. So if you follow us on social media, you saw the pictures of these kids jumping off very high areas and having to trust each other and really build that teamwork. Our next session that we'll meet with them is in January, where we'll go over education, and then February we'll be visiting all of you guys for a local government class, and then March will be communication and community. April is when we go to the Randolph Air Force Base, and then May 8th will be their graduation, where they'll do their presentations and banquet. Also, students must attend one city council meeting, so they'll be here tonight for a little bit watching, and then one school board meeting and volunteer at one event, which will be Holodazzle next month. So I'd like to bring them up, so I'll have them introduce themselves, but we have from Clemens High School, Colette Forsberg, Emily Kinney, Carly Moy, Hannah Jacobson, Christopher Aikman, Caleb Reeder, and Kate Krupsak. Sorry, Kate, if I said your name wrong. And then Steele High School, Sophia Fisher, Isabella Hunter, Randolph Field High School, Emily Denson, Tops K through 12, Zachary Roundtree, and then Founders Classical Academy, Marcus Brown. So if you are keeping track, this is one more high school represented this year than last year, so our program's growing each year. It's really hard to pick. We get a lot of applicants that are really great, so these students are amazing. So I'm going to have them come up in this order. So Colette, you'll go first, and then we'll go down the line. Unfortunately, one of our students couldn't join us tonight, Sophia, but for good reason. She's on the Steele varsity volleyball team, and they made round 3 of the playoffs, so she's in Kyle for their game. So I'm going to read off her bio before I have the students come up. So Sophia Fisher is a junior at Steele High School, and she is super excited to be a part of Schertz Young Leaders. She grew up in the Schertz-Cibolo area and then moved back last summer after living overseas for the military. She plays volleyball as a member of the National Honor Society and Key Club. She is super social and loves a good challenge. And then I will let Colette come up first, and then Emily, you'll be next.
Hello, my name is Colette Forsberg. I'm a sophomore at Samuel Clemens High School. I am also an officer in my 4-H club where I show animals. I am in my 2nd year of softball at Clemens, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hello, I'm Emily Kinney. I'm a sophomore at Samuel Clemens High School. I'm a member of Student Council and Key Club, and I'm starting my own multicultural club. Thank you for this opportunity.
Hi, my name's Carly Moy. I'm a junior at Samuel Clemens High School. This is my 3rd year being on the golf team. I'm also a member of the NHS Society at school. Just want to thank y'all for this opportunity and creating a space for us to learn how to be true leaders and grow with all these young people around me. So I'm super excited. Thank y'all so much.
Hi, my name is Hannah Jacobson. I'm a junior at Clemens. I'm a cross-country captain, a member of NHS, and our class of 2026 treasurer. I'm super grateful and excited for this opportunity.
Good evening, Mayor Gutierrez and council members. My name is Christopher Aikman. I attend Samuel Clemens High School, and I'm in the 11th grade. I'm the kicker and punter for the varsity football team. I play defense for our varsity soccer team, and I ran 2 years of varsity cross country. In my free time, I like to go fishing. I work at April's Diner, and I like to spend time with my friends and family. I'm a part of our DECA and FFA teams, and in the future, I would like to attend West Point and play football there. Thank you for this opportunity.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Caleb Breeder. I am a senior at Clemens High School. I am a former football player, but as every retired football player, I now play golf there. So I am a part of NHS, and I'm an Eagle Scout from Troop 343, and I am hoping to go to either the Air Force Academy or A&M to study government contracting. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kate Krupsak. I'm a senior at Samuel Clemens High School, where I serve as senior class president, editor-in-chief of the Stampede Yearbook publication, Taffy president, and an active member of the National Honor Society. I plan on attending Texas State University this upcoming fall to major in elementary education and continue on to get my master's in administrative education to continue on to be a superintendent one day. Thank you so much for this opportunity so that I can grow in my own leadership for my future endeavors. Thank you.
Hey y'all. My name is Isabella Hunter. I'm a senior at Byron P. Steele. I'm a former member of the AFJROTC program and a current member of the Future Healthcare Professionals Program, HOSA. I have competed in HOSA for 3 years now, going on 4, in life-saving skills. I just got accepted into UIW, so I plan on going to UIW next fall for nursing to get my BSN to hopefully become an OR nurse. And thank you for this opportunity to grow my leadership skills.
Hello, my name is Emily Denson. I'm a junior at Randolph High School. I'm a member of the volleyball team, the National Honor Society. Outside of school, I'm also in Jack and Jill of America, Top Teens of America. I would like to attend Howard University to major in nursing, and I would like to thank you for this opportunity.
I'm a junior at Texas Online Preparatory High School, but I'm also taking an online college course at the University of Texas Permian Basin. I'm a National Honor Society member, so leadership, service, volunteering, and scholarship are important to me. I'm on the A honor roll, and I've won awards for perseverance in being a peacemaker. My grandma used to say that I'm smart and I have heart. I usually attend Teen Tuesdays at the Schertz Library, where I also volunteer shelving books. I've also helped with office work at Texas State University in the summer. Thank you for the opportunity to participate in the Schertz Young Leaders program.
Good evening, everyone. I am Marcus Brown. I'm a sophomore at Founders Classical Academy of Schertz. Outside of this program, I'm involved in multiple extracurriculars there, including many sports. I'm a member of our student council and a member of NHS. Outside of school, I work as a soccer referee and routinely volunteer at my church as an audio technician. After school, I hope to go to the Air Force Academy and then go on to serve my country. But thank you for this opportunity to learn about my community and grow my leadership skills.
And that is our 2024-25 Schertz Young Leaders class. We're super excited to get to know them more along the next couple months. So.
Well, thank you, Cassie. First, let me just say thank you. Thank you for stepping up, and being part of this class. As they came up here and introduced themselves, they are so involved in so many different aspects of school. And that's part of the reason why you were chosen. Your involvement, whether it's in school activities or sports, that means a lot. Those are types of leadership skills that you would develop in those activities. Being a leader, we continue to learn. I'm close to 70 years old, and I'm still learning some of the aspects of being a leader. As you would know, challenges and obstacles will be in the way, and your leadership skills will get you through those tough spots. Thanks again for being part of this. Council, questions, comments? Congratulations.
We're gonna do your guys' photo real quick. So do like 2 rows like you did for the photo leader.
Next on the agenda is a 20-year milestone service pin presentation to our Fire Department Battalion Chief, Clint Williams. Mr. Williams. floor
Thank
is
you,
yours.
Mayor. So I'm going to ask Clint Williams to come up here, my cousin. Not really my cousin, but we must be related. So as you've all heard me say every time we do this, this is one of my favorite things to do, is to acknowledge the tenure of our employees. We do a 1-year, a 5-year, a 10-year, and 20 and above at 5-year increments. The ones that are less than 20 years, we acknowledge them at the departmental level with all their peers. When you get to be old, I mean, when you're around for 20 years, like Clint, we bring you to the council meeting, we get a chance to razz you a little bit and acknowledge your service. But 20 years and above is an extremely strong commitment to your craft and to the city of Schertz and our community and serving our community. And it's something that we acknowledge and we really appreciate it as an organization. But first, whenever we do this, I got a little thing I like to do. It's what happened in November of 2004. I'm not exactly sure. Did you start in November or was it September? Okay, well, pretend that says September. Over and Over by Nelly featuring Tim McGraw was the #1 song. Was that your jam back in the day? There you go. Okay, all right. The cost of a gallon of gas was $1.30. It's gone up a little bit since then. The #1 movie was The Incredibles, one of my favorites. And the best-selling vehicle in America, surprisingly enough, was a Ford F Series. But most importantly, or more importantly, the city of Schertz hired Clint Williams. And there he is, a strapping young man right there. Right up there with his buddy up there. He's in the back. Yeah, Kurt's in the back there. Okay, so, but I do have some notes. And when you're around for 20 years, you get a long list of accomplishments. But not only does Clint have tenure, he's accomplished a lot. So Clint started in the fire service in 2019 as a volunteer. Came to the city of Schertz in 2004 and was the firefighter of the year in 2005. He promoted to driver operator 1 year later and lieutenant just right before starting his 5th year with the organization. He was asked by the panel of officers where he saw myself in 5 years, and when he was being interviewed, he said, on the other side of the table. So his first goal was completed. He spent the next 9 years as a company officer, where he was awarded Crew of the Year in 2016 and ran a technical rescue program, created the CESO RIT program. You want to tell them what that is?
CESO RIT, Combined Emergency Services Organization for our area, Rapid Intervention, where we train each other to stay firefighters.
There you go. And he seemed to be lucky enough to catch all kinds of crazy and exciting calls. He was promoted to battalion chief 6 years ago, and his luck has held out. He currently has been the incident commander on the biggest structure fires in Schertz, which were at the La Quinta, and the other one was in Cibolo at, I never know how to pronounce it, Asen, at the factory on 210. Yes, and he's been transported to the hospital twice while on duty. He broke his hand, slipped a disc in his back, broke an eardrum, tore a calf muscle, burned the heck out of his hand once, and many other small injuries. Hopefully you didn't do all those at once and had to go to the hospital, but they were, okay. And he's, that's right, and he's had many sleepless nights, 2,433, give or take 1 or 2, but who's counting? He's worked under 3 mayors, a handful of city managers, but of course, he's working with his favorite one right now, and 4 fire chiefs, 6 assistant chiefs, and a few interims over the last 20 years. 20 years is a funny place to be. He's had the honor of serving with some of the best people in the world. Some of them have been with him since day one that he started the fire service, and many more have shown up along the way. Some have moved on, some have retired, and a few are no longer with us. He will always be grateful for the opportunity and the ability to serve the citizens of Schertz and the surrounding area. He knows that everyone is wondering, now that he's got his 20 in, is he going to be a free agent? Is he going to move on? But just wanted to let everybody know that he just bought a brand new toothbrush for the station. So he's going to be around for at least another 10 or 15 years to wear that toothbrush out. So, and also he might not be allowed to come home every night. Not really sure. I hadn't checked that out yet. So Clint was born in New Braunfels in 1979, grew up in Bulverde, graduated from Smithson Valley High School. He grew up as hunting, fishing, riding horses, played a little football, and he doesn't think he was that good, but the coaches chose him as a player of the year in 1996. And a fun fact is 3 guys that he went to high school with are still working with him in the Schertz Fire Department. And he was actually the last one to join the group or to hit the 20-year mark out of that group. Went to high school, went to college at SAC for a few years, but really that was his mother's dream, not his. He soon figured out he wanted to go to work, and he's been working a minimum of 2 full-time jobs for the last 27 years, mainly with the fire department and also with a family fire equipment business, but he has also done some fence building, cowboying, ranching, and real estate, to name a few other things. Current life and family events, he likes to spend time with his beautiful wife and amazing kids, chasing his amazing wife and chasing kids around. The oldest daughter graduated from UTSA this year, or past year, and is now working in the family business. The middle son plays football, baseball, and has a lot of doctor's appointments as a result. And the youngest daughter is into cheerleading, volleyball, and winning rodeos all over the place. Only 2 more pages. Just kidding. So Clint enjoys spending time with his family, hunting, fishing, volunteering with his emergency response team at church, working on the ranch, spreading jokes and knowledge around the fire station. His best hunting / fishing trips have been, the one where he was dropped off by a plane in the middle of Alaska and had to raft back to civilization 7 days later.
I did that about 7 times.
Oh gosh, 7 times, okay. Not really sure if this is a fun fact, but he's lived at the Schertz fire station, at Fire Station 1, longer than any other place since he moved out of his childhood home, and spent more time with his fire department personnel than with his own family. Congratulations, sir. It's an honor to have you, and we wish you 20 more at least. Congratulations, sir. Appreciate you very much.
No problem. Oh, I got a present for you as well.
Oh, you have a present
I know
for me.
this takes a lot to put together, so.
Oh, okay. Is that on the agenda, Mayor?
What's that?
Just kidding.
You can go over there.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I
For
appreciate
the
it.
last group before me, good spot for failed athletes in the fire department. A lot of good resumes just came through.
Thank you. Appreciate you very much.
Clint, I just want to say congratulations on your 20-year pin, and thank you for your dedication and your service to our city. Appreciate it so much. All right, we have city events and announcements of upcoming events. Mr. James.
Had to find it there, Mayor. Just to let folks know, next Monday, November 18th, is the canvassing of the election. 15 proposed charter amendments and general election seats 6 and 7. That's at 6 p.m. here in council chambers. And then our next regularly scheduled council meeting is a week from tonight on November 19th at 6 p.m.
All right, next is announcements and recognitions by our city manager.
No announcements tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Announcements and recognitions by the mayor. First, I'd like to thank the city of Cibolo for hosting this year's Veterans Day ceremony. Also, Davenport High School for also celebrating and honoring our vets this past weekend. Appreciate it so much. Next on the agenda is the hearing of residents. This time is set aside for any person who wishes to address the city council. Each person is limited to 3 minutes, and we ask before addressing the council, for the record, please state your name and address. We do have a few public hearings, and if you signed up for the hearing of residents, you have a choice. You can speak at the hearing of residents, wait until the public hearing, or you can speak at both. The choice is yours. Mayor Pro Tem, please call first speaker.
Dr. Miguel Vasquez.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and City staff. My name is Dr. Miguel Vasquez. I serve as president of the Schertz Cibolo Cemetery Association, and I wanted to give you some updates on some festivities that we had on November 2nd. We had approximately 95 people in attendance, as our mistress of ceremonies was Schertz First Lady, Raquel Gutierrez, and she introduced County Commissioner Michael Carpenter for the unveiling of the county historical marker. Mr. Martinez from U.S. Congressman Henry Cuellar's office also gave us a little background on Dia de los Muertos, and that was well received. And most importantly, we dedicated the Children's Memorial, which we've been working on for some time now. So this memorial helps to restore the names of the children that we know that are buried there at the cemetery, but their markers had withered away. So we restored the names, and so they will not be forgotten. Very important for us. The Schertz Historical Preservation Committee also had their booth there, and they were selling their book on Schertz history. We had a community altar, and the proceeds from art sales all will be going towards for the benefit of the cemetery. People in attendance came from all around us. So we had people from Seguin, Kingsbury, Marion, Converse, Cibolo, San Antonio, and Schertz. So we had a good, we had advertised it through the County Historical Commission as well, so that brought a lot of people over. Also wanted to give a special thanks to the Davenport Junior ROTC, who helped with setting up and parking and all of that good stuff. So we had a good time. I think people enjoyed themselves, and we look forward to our next project, which I think will involve a city committee. Thank you.
That's it. Dr. Vasquez, thank you so much, for that children's memorial and dedication ceremony. It was a very touching. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next is the consent agenda items. These are considered self-explanatory, and information packets are provided to council and available for public viewing. These items require no discussion unless requested by council. Item number 1, minutes. Item number 2, resolution number 24R144. Item number 3, resolution number 24R147. Item number 4, resolution number 24R151. Item number 5, resolution number 24R148. Item number 6, resolution number 24R149. And item number 7, ordinance number 24S162. Council, do any of these need to be removed for separate action? Seeing no comments, do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda items 1 through 7?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilmember Watson and second by Councilmember Brown. Council, any comments? Please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 5 ayes, no objections, motion passes. We'll move on. We have discussion item number 8, resolution number 24R151. Approve a resolution casting votes to elect the Board of Directors for the Guadalupe County Appraisal District for FY 2025 term. Ms. Edmondson, floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and City staff. Tonight I bring forward Resolution 24R153. This resolution is for the City of Schertz to cast their votes to elect Board of Director members for the Guadalupe County Appraisal District. The City of Schertz has 283 votes to cast. For the following nominees. I have given each one of you a list of the nominees, and so you'll have them as you decide how you want to cast your votes, but I'll go ahead and read the nominees on the ballot. We have a Mr. Joshua A. Bright. We have Mr. Chris Evans, Mr. Carl Harborth, Mr. Richard Dick Hetzel, Mr. James Jim Levins, Mr. J. Caleb Rackley, Mr. Ernesto Rodriguez, Ms. Leticia Sever, and Mr. Pete Silvius. The City of Schertz can put, with the 283 votes, you can split them up. You can put them under one nominee or however you want to divide them up. But the total vote that we have to cast is 283.
Right. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Edmondson. Council, I'd like to make a recommendation on these votes. Knowing that there's 2 residents, there's several residents from the City of Schertz, but Ms. Leticia Seaver, the school district has over 2,000 votes that are available for them, and if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around that amount. And I'd like for the council to consider all 283 votes for Mr. Chris Evans. At this point, I'll go ahead and open it up for discussion. Mr. Brown.
I'll make a motion that we provide all 283 votes for Mr. Chris Evans.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Council, if you can please cast your vote. 283 votes for Mr. Chris Evans. We can publish the vote, please. We have 5 ayes, no objections. All 283 votes will be cast for Mr. Chris Evans. Thank you, Ms. Edmondson. All right, we'll move on. Item number 9, resolution number 24R154. Approve a contract of architectural and engineering services for Fire Station number 4. Chief, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening. Greg Rogers, Fire Chief, Council. Mr. Williams, thank you for allowing me to speak to you this evening. We're in front of you tonight to approve architectural services by Martinez Construction, our architecture for Fire Station 4. In September of 2023, we came before you to approve the same services for Icon Architecture. Shortly after being awarded that contract, the initial lead architect was let go by the firm. We were assigned another architect. That circumstance was not very a good one, and that architect as well was let go by the firm. As growing concerns continue to rise, we checked in the region, found out some other projects were having some struggles, but additionally, one very close to us here had their project by Icon turned over to a third party. Certainly that gave us pause in our circumstance. As such, I reached out to speak with Human Resources on potential options to move forward. My preference was to consider a separation. We consulted with legal and city manager on that process, and they too understood and agreed. And so we became before you tonight. At the point of that separation in August of this year, we had approximately 85% of schematic design done. We were able to retain that work product, and Martinez would be able to pick that work product up very quickly and get us back onto speed. We felt it more important to protect the major portion of $10 million project and give up a little bit of time in an effort to make sure the project was a good one. If you have any questions, our owner's rep was here to speak to any circumstances in which they talked about in negotiations with Martinez. We went from 9.25% with Icon and 8.85% now with Martinez. So we're able to coup some of that because of the work product that they had done. If you have any purchasing questions, Ms. Curtis is here as well.
Thank you, Chief. All right, council, floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Watson.
I motion that we approve Resolution 24R152.
Second.
Have a motion made by Councilmember Watson, second by Councilmember Brown. Council, do you have any other comments? If none, if you can please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 5 ayes, no objections. Motion passes. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Council. Thank you for your support.
All right, next is item number 10, ordinance number 24S154. Approve amendments to Part 3 of the Schertz Code of Ordinance, Unified Development Code, UDC, to Article 5, Section 21.5.9, Special Districts, and Article 9, Section 21.9.3, Lots, Section 21.9.8, Screening and Fencing, Section 21.9.9, Tree Preservation and Mitigation, and Section 21.9.12, Site Plan Process, and Article 16, Definitions. This is our final reading. Ms. Marquez, floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Williams. So this is ordinance 24S154 for the proposed UDC amendments to Article 5, Article 9, and Article 16, Daisy Marquez Planner. So these are the same amendments as proposed before, except with the amendment proposed by Councilmember Davis. And let me show you that amendment that was requested. It was specifically to screening and fencing for schools. And this is the amendment we're proposing. We would include a section that says, for public schools in City of Schertz owned properties, screening is allowed on chain link or similar woven wire mesh with approval by the city manager or his or her designee. And we're hoping that this would satisfy the amendments you were asking for. Looks good. And everything else remained the same. Any comments or questions?
Thank you, Ms. Marquez. All right, council, floor is open for discussion. I think this was a previous discussion that we had, and there was only one change that was requested.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve ordinance 24S162.
Second.
Have a motion made by Councilmember
Sorry,
Davis.
that was, let me correct myself. That was ordinance 24S154.
154, okay. And second by Councilmember Watson. Council, any comments? Please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 5 ayes, no objections. Motion passes. Next on the agenda is our first public hearing, ordinance number 24S160. Conduct a public hearing and consider a request for a special use permit to allow a manufacturing mobile home on approximately 2 acres of land known as 6759 Fowle Road, also known as Bexar County Property Identification Number 1296079, City of Schertz, Bexar County, Texas. First reading. Ms. Marquez, floor is yours.
Good evening once again. Ordinance 24S160, a proposed specific use permit on approximately 2 acres of land on a property known as 6759 Fowle Road, Daisy Marquez Planner. So here's the subject property outlined in green. This is Fowle Road. It's approximately 2 acres. It's located in Bexar County. It is currently undeveloped. It is located within the APZ2 and it is platted. Here is the subject property again outlined in yellow. It is currently zoned as single-family residential agricultural district, RA. It is undeveloped. To the north is another property zoned single-family residential agricultural district that currently has a residence. To the south, The property is also zoned single-family residential agricultural district, and it is also a residence. And then to the east, we have the Fowl Road right-of-way. And then to the west, the subject property is also single-family residential agricultural district, and it is a residence. So on September 17th, we sent out a total of 10 public hearing notices. And as of October 2nd, we received 1 in opposition, 0 in favor, and 1 neutral. And 1 sign was posted on the property by the applicant. And it was posted in the San Antonio Express on October 23rd. So the applicant is requesting a specific use permit at the subject property to allow a manufactured home on approximately 2 acres of land zoned single-family residential agricultural district known as 6759 Fowl Road. And the subject property is currently undeveloped and is part of the East Central Village Unit 1B subdivision. And we're here today because as per UDC Section 2158, a specific use permit is required for the placement of a manufactured home/mobile home in single-family residential agricultural district. So going through the criteria for approval, 21511D, the proposed use at the specified location is consistent with the policies of the adopted comprehensive land use plan or any other applicable adopted plans. So the subject property seen here, indicated by the star, is designated as rural living in the future land use map. And rural living is described as sparse development, natural landscapes, and agricultural activity that emphasizes compatibility with JBSA. The proposed SUP meets the intent of the rural living land use designation as it is proposing the placement of a manufactured home on 2 acres that is already platted and is intended to be their main residence. And the applicant has received an affirmative recommendation from JBSA for the proposed use, which is also consistent with the intent of the rural living land use designation. 2, the proposed use is consistent with the general purpose and intent of the applicable zoning district regulations. So the purpose and intent of single-family residential agricultural district is to provide for areas in which agricultural land may be held in such use for as long as practical and reasonable, where development may be premature due to lack of utilities, capacity to service, and for areas that are unsuitable for development because of physical constraints as per UDC Section 2155. The proposed use is consistent with the zoning district and the uses allowed within single-family residential agricultural district. And due to the location of the subject property within the APZ2, the SUP was reviewed by JBSA, and they did receive an affirmative recommendation from JBSA. So 3, the proposed use is compatible with and preserves the character and integrity of adjacent developments and neighborhoods, and includes improvements either on site or within the public rights-of-way to mitigate development-related adverse impacts such as safety, traffic, noise, odors, visual nuisances, drainage, or other similar adverse effects to adjacent development and neighborhoods. So in the surrounding areas, there is sparse residential development along Fowl Road, and the applicant is proposing to use the subject property for the same use as the surrounding properties. And the only difference is that the subject property is proposing a manufactured home, and a manufactured home requires a specific use permit for placement within single-family residential agricultural district. So 4, the proposed use will not adversely affect the overall health, safety, or general welfare of the city. So the existing single-family residential agricultural district zoning of the general area and existing land uses of rural residences are compatible with the proposed manufactured home. And since the property is located within the accident potential zone 2, they were required to receive an affirmative recommendation of the proposed use from JBSA as per UDC Section 2159. And the City of Schertz Fire, EMS, and Police Departments have been notified of the SUP to request a manufactured home at the subject property and did not provide any objections to the request. 5, whether other factors are deemed relevant and important in the consideration of the specific use permit. So the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council have not provided additional criteria for consideration of the specific use permit. Staff recommends approval of Ordinance 24S-160 due to the proposed use being consistent with the policies of the comprehensive plan and being compatible with the surrounding area. And the Planning and Zoning Commission met on October 2nd and made a recommendation of approval with a unanimous vote. Any comments or questions?
Thank you, Ms. Marcus. All right, this item is on the agenda as an open public hearing. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to address the City Council in reference to this subject? Seeing no activity, going once, going twice. Public hearing is closed. All right, council, floor is open for discussion. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 24S-160?
I'll make a motion to approve 24S 160.
A second.
Have a motion made by Councilmember Brown and second by Councilmember Westbrook. Council, any comments? Any other comments? If none, please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 5 ayes, no objections, motion passes. We'll move on to item number 12. Ordinance number 24S-161. Conduct a public hearing and consider a request to rezone approximately 1.4 acres of land from office and professional district to neighborhood services located 250 feet south of the intersection of Antler Drive and FM 3009, more specifically known as Guadalupe County Property Identification Number 20412, City of Schertz, Guadalupe County, Texas. This is our first reading. Ms. Marquez, floor is yours.
Good evening once again. Ordinance 24S-161, a proposed zone change from office and professional district to neighborhood services on approximately 1.4 acres of land. Daisy Marquez, planner. Here's the subject property outlined in green. It is located along Roy Richard, also known as FM 309. This is the intersection of Savannah Drive and Roy Richard, and this is the intersection of Antler and Roy Richard. It's 1.4 acres. It's located in Guadalupe County, and it is currently undeveloped. So it is currently zoned office professional district, and it is undeveloped. To the north, we have single-family residential district, and these are single-family residences within their Deer Haven subdivision. To the south, immediately is the driveway for this residence, zone single-family residential district R1. There are people that currently live there. To the east, we have the FM 3009 right-of-way, and then to the west, again, we have that single-family residential district R1. So on September 17th, we sent out 12 public hearing notices, and as of October 29th, we received one in favor from the applicant, and one sign was posted on the property, and it was posted in the San Antonio Express on October 23rd. So the applicant has previously applied for a proposed zone change from office professional district to neighborhood services district at the subject property, and the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing for this item and at the same subject property on May 2024. The Planning and Zoning Commission made a recommendation for denial with a 5-1 vote to City Council, and the applicant withdrew that application before it could be heard at City Council. So the proposed zone change is for approximately 1.4 acres of land in neighborhood services district. The applicant wishes to rezone the property to develop an automated car wash. So one, going again through that UDC section 2154D criteria for approval, whether the proposed zoning change implements the policies of the adopted comprehensive land plan or any other applicable adopted plans. So the proposed neighborhood services district is not inherently incompatible with the policies of the adopted comprehensive land plan. The comprehensive land plan designates the subject property as a local corridor, and local corridor land use designation is meant to contain conventional retail centers, small-scale mixed use, multifamily development, and residential uses that are of scale and intensity with the compatible with the surrounding neighborhoods. And although the proposed neighborhood services district and existing office and professional district do meet the intent of the local corridor land use designation, the surrounding subject property zoning designations make the proposed land uses allowed by right in the neighborhood services district incompatible. So to the northwest and south of the subject property, the properties are single-family residential district and are used for single-family residences. And to the east of the property is FM 309 right-of-way and is the subject property's only access point. And although the subject property is located along FM 309 and has access to FM 309, the subject property is surrounded by residentially zoned properties that are used for single-family homes. And as a result of the subject property being nestled within single-family residences, the proposed zone change to neighborhood services district is not compatible. 2, whether the proposed zoning promotes the health, safety, and general welfare of the city. So as part of promoting health, safety, and welfare, the city should encourage development compatible with surrounding uses, utilizing standards and transitional uses to alleviate negative impacts. So the proposed neighborhood services district dimensional and development standards, as stated in 21.7B of the UDC, are not compatible with what is in the immediately surrounding area. The existing office professional district is more compatible with the immediate surrounding area as it is the least intense commercial zoning district. And as per UDC Section 2156, the purpose and intent of the office professional district is to provide ancillary retail services, which may include restaurants, coffee shops, and newsstands for office developments. And although the proposed neighborhood services district is intended to provide suitable areas for development of certain limited service and retail uses in proximity to residential uses, it is also intended to be properly buffered from residential uses. And the location of the subject property is completely surrounded by single-family residences. The City of Schertz Police, Fire, and EMS departments have reviewed the proposed zone change, and the police department expressed concerns in relation to the potential number of vehicles within the automated car wash in relation to stacking on site and potential traffic flow issues, including overflow onto FM 3009. And the applicant did not submit a conceptual or proposed site plan with their zone change application submittal. 3, whether the uses permitted by the proposed zone change will be consistent and appropriate with existing uses in the immediate area. So the subject property is surrounded by single-family residential district properties that are used for single-family residences. And although the subject property has access onto FM 309, it is not immediately adjacent to other neighborhood services district properties or properties that are already used for commercial purposes. So these are the uses permitted by right within neighborhood services district. And these are the uses permitted by right within office professional district. And many of the allowed uses in neighborhood services district are not appropriate in the immediate area of the land to be reclassified. The existing office professional district and permitted uses are more appropriate in the immediate area of the land to be reclassified. So 4, whether other factors are deemed relevant and important in consideration of the amendment. So staff has ensured all UC requirements have been met for the proposed zone change. And at this time, have not received any special consideration from the Planning and Zoning Commission or City Council. And FM 309 is a text dot road and is classified as a principal arterial with the planned 120 to 130 feet of right-of-way width. And the subject property has an existing curb cut on FM 309, but any proposed driveways will need to be reviewed by the City of Schertz Engineering Department and text dot. So UDC Article 9 requires additional screening between residential and commercial uses, which would require a solid 8-foot masonry wall with a 20-foot landscape buffer, 1 tree every 30 linear feet. And although these additional site design requirements are in place to create additional buffering between the single-family homes and commercial uses, there are concerns over the uses allowed within the proposed neighborhood services district that are not compatible with the surrounding area. So due to the incompatibility of the proposed neighborhood services district within an enclave of single-family residential district properties, staff recommends denial of ordinance 24S-161. The Planning and Zoning Commission met on October 2nd and made a recommendation of approval to City Council with a 5-2 vote. Any comments or questions? And the applicant is here as well.
Thank you, Ms. Marcus. If the applicant is here, please, mic's available.
Well, good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for your time tonight. Have the handouts that I believe you have. Sorry, it's not up on the big screen, but running through those real quick. And thank you, Daisy, for that presentation. Obviously went over some of the basics there. We are an undeveloped, just under 1.5 acre property right on 3009. Just to our south is the Take 5 oil lube tune-up. You have a retail strip center, drive-through, coffee shop across the street. Pretty significant amount of retail in the area. What we're asking for, what we're proposing is a automated car wash, a company called Watershed Car Wash, family-run operation. I'll go into a little bit more detail on it here in a second. I'll also try to be brief. I know y'all have been moving along quickly, so I'll try not to slow you down. We are, and if you're looking, I guess, at the second page, describes the property in a little bit more detail, shows you where we are. As Daisy mentioned, our future land use designation is local corridor. And just to read a little snippet of the local corridor, land use described as locally oriented commercial and entertainment areas typically situated along medium to high volume collector roads with neighborhoods at the perimeter. And here we have.
Do you want to put it on the overhead?
Would
that help?
It might.
No, I don't.
Now this one has all my notes on it.
Oh. Can I borrow somebody's?
I haven't seen one of those in a while. Yeah.
You're not as old as me to see them in.
I had them in the classroom.
And then let's see.
All right.
Around as you see fit.
All right. Thank you. Let me move it around. Sorry. So here is that. Well, maybe I'll leave it alone. Here's our property. Here we are on 3009. 5-lane primary arterial TxDOT road, surrounded by commercial uses. Really, we fit in here. Here you have the retail, the neighborhood commercial all around. Again, major arterial and really one of the city's kind of main roads, main corridors. Our project, small in scale, low in intensity, really fits right in. There is residential on the periphery, just like all up and down 3009. You have commercial and retail, on the main road, on the primary arterial, and then the neighborhood's set back significantly. Here, just from our rear property line to the home back behind us, we're a little over 200 feet. And the residential to the north is actually an undeveloped lot there. But that's, so we are adjacent to neighborhoods, but set back pretty far, and that's the point of neighborhood commercial, is to provide these neighborhood commercial uses. So moving on to that next slide, just kind of shows you blurry. What those surrounding uses are, that retail commercial. And the next slide has a list there. Sorry, now I got too many notes going on here. Can y'all follow along on your packet? I'm not that coordinated to do it all. On there, sorry. Okay, so on to that next page. Thank you for bearing with me there. List some of the uses. You have these neighborhood retail, neighborhood commercial uses. You have your oil change spot, your coffee shops and restaurants, nail salons, all those neighborhood commercial uses. Really, the only thing missing is a car wash. As you move on, see the other neighborhood services. There's a couple slides, page 5 and 6. Maybe I'll try this. Showing that there is a need for car washes. Really, there's not any car washes in the area. You have the Go Car Wash on 3009 right around the corner here, which is about 1.5 miles from our property. Beyond that, you have, H-E-B has their car wash up on 35. And then the nearest ones are all the way to the west, 1604, and then some way down to the south on 1103. If you can see that map, that red dot circled in the bottom is really the nearest, if not only car wash in the area. And this is a really unique car wash, the way they've run their operations. One, limited in hours, close at sundown. They have some pretty significant environmental impacts. Most car washes today reclaim about 50% of the water, use dozens of gallons of water per car. This site, if approved, would be Watershed Car Wash's probably first or second one to use some new technology they're investing in that reaches almost 100% water reclamation. Typically about 3 gallons of water is used, if not completely reclaimed per car, where again the kind of industry standard for others, and today is like 30, 40 gallons per car. Kind of moving on, the zoning, this is an important one, as Daisy mentioned, and really I think a major reason for their recommendation of denial was a statement that we are surrounded by residential zoning, which technically is true. You have a driveway to our south that was actually once part of this property that leads to the home that's significantly higher up than our property and set back quite a ways. Again, about 200 feet from our property line. From our property line to the building itself, it's about 70 feet. So you have almost 300 feet to really the nearest home. To our south, and obviously across the street, and again, all up and down 3009, you have commercial zoning, commercial uses, pretty well established, as they should be on a 5-lane primary arterial. The proposed neighborhood services, I won't read that whole thing, but you can see some of the high points there. It's intended for the development of certain limited service and retail uses to serve those basic everyday needs of nearby residents, and that's what we're asking for here. Again, the zoning description, we are more compatible, consistent, and really surrounded by other neighborhood service zoning, other commercial retail zoning and uses. The purple to our south, again, Take 5 oil change, it's part of a PDD, but it's commercial zoning. And then you see everything in this picture on 3009, all the blue is commercial zoning. As intended, as consistent with the future land use plan, and really with the land use patterns in the area. Busy road, you have commercial, retail, neighborhood services along that road, neighborhood setback, and the retail is meant to serve these neighbors. You know, stopping in the morning, getting a car wash, and getting a taco, pretty important, pretty good part of the day, good start of the day. The next slide is a more kind of technical site plan, and then we have a better illustration on that next page. But we are a small building, just under 4,000 square feet. Again, we're over 70 feet from the rear property line, really situated to the middle of the site. The site also drops about 25 feet from the west down to FM 3009. The grading of the site when this project is constructed cuts into that grade about 5-10 feet or so. So really sets us down quite a bit. We will not be visible whatsoever because of that grade change and the grading from the neighborhood to the west. We also have all around the perimeter, as Daisy mentioned, a pretty significant landscape buffer, 20 feet of landscaping all around, plus an 8-foot masonry wall. So really well buffered, insulated, landscaped. Won't be seen by the neighbors, will be seen just enough by folks on 3009, but it'll look nice. Again, that's all on top of the large distance from actual homes, residential nearby. There's an example of what that landscaping will look like. The site plans you see here, this is what will be followed. The conditional use process doesn't attach a site plan to the ordinance, although I think we wish it did, wish it would allow for that. And that goes to the comment about site plan being provided. It wasn't, I guess, allowed to be provided, but plenty of room for vehicle stacking all on site. You can see kind of the flow of traffic on this site plan with the cars. There will never be a situation where there's cars stacking anywhere close to the driveway on 3009. Sorry, I know I said I'd be brief, and here we are. The next few slides just have a few more snippets on the project itself. In terms of water reclamation, we have dark sky lighting, again, close at sundown every day. Really a low intensity, low impact, low traffic use that is meant to serve the surrounding neighborhood, serve the community. Large landscape buffer, that 8-foot masonry wall, reduced elevation, meeting almost to a T the future land use description of the local corridor, and really just being consistent and compatible all around. Again, surrounded by commercial zoning, commercial uses. Well, could go on, but really a lot of care has been taken to not just meet the code requirements of landscaping, buffering, but given this site, there's a reason it's vacant, given its current zoning, because of the way 3009 is. But this still, what we're asking for is certainly consistent, compatible with surrounding uses, surrounding zoning, both on the heavy retail along 3009, as well as the neighborhood. This is meant to serve the neighborhood as neighborhood services should be intended for. Again, set back quite a way, set back down low, about as consistent and compatible of a use as you can get here. So thanks for bearing with me through that. Happy to answer any questions or go into more detail if you'd like. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. All right. It is 7:13. This item is on the agenda as an open public hearing. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to address the city council in reference to this subject? Going once, going twice. It is 7:13. We're closing at the same time. All right. Council, floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Brown.
Just to add a little clarity there's 4 car washes about a half mile away. You got HEB, you got Valero, you got 7-Eleven, and you got the wash tub. It's not like there's a dearth of car washes in the area. To say there's only one a mile and a half away is a little misleading, to say the least. I'm not against the business. I'm not here to talk about the business, but just the use of the land, the way that it's set up. I personally don't think it's compatible with with being surrounded by residential properties like that. Those are large lot residences. They're very private. I just don't see that being the right use. Additionally, right next to that, what is now the inspection station is a failed car wash. And, the business there didn't support, and again, I don't know all the details, but it didn't support staying in business as a car wash. So I don't know how, again, we're not here to tell you about business, but I don't know how well that's going to fit in anyway. But like I say, I don't see this as being compatible for the area.
Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, in the packet, it says this had previously gone to Planning and Zoning, and they recommended a denial, and it was pulled and not brought to council, and then I guess it went back. Can you tell us what changed between the first submission to P&Z and the second, if anything?
The submission did not change, sir. They just made a different recommendation to council this time.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Macaluso.
Yeah, I was going to kind of piggyback a little bit off of what Tim said. Not only was that car wash right next door that failed, but there was one just about 2 blocks down off of Wieterstein that also closed down as well. So then you have a new one coming in, a Big League car wash right there by Walmart. So you have an additional one coming in. So, whether it's needed or not, I don't know. I think that's an arguable thing, but you have to look past that as well when you do the zoning change. And so when you start opening it up, there's some other businesses that could potentially come in there that I just don't think are appropriate right next to those residential homes. So I myself am not in favor of changing the zoning.
Yes, Mr. Williams, yes.
I just have a quick question, just only seeing the diagram tonight. Are those parking spaces, are those the vacuuming stations where it's exterior and, okay.
Yes, sir.
So I don't have it in front of me, I gave you my copy, but how many vacuuming stations are there? That's fine.
I believe we have 26. And it's rare that they're all used at the same time. And sorry, my market study was homemade, so apologize for getting that wrong in the car wash location, but really was trying to get there's a few up on 35 and a few others around the car wash that was at the Take 5 a while ago that did not last very long. As we understand it, it was just very poorly run. It wasn't a function of need, but just wanted to mention that. But I was to answer your question about the stalls.
Yes, just that question. Thank you.
26.
Council, any other comments? I'd like to remind council, if there is a motion and it's not second, it is not voted on. And if there is no motion, of course, it is not going to be voted on. I'll just pause for a minute. Councilmember Watson.
Ordinance 24S-161.
I'm sorry, did I hear approve?
Yes.
Okay, there's a motion to approve. Ordinance number 24S-161. Hearing no second, the application is denied, sir. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Item number 13, ordinance number 24S-157. Conduct a public hearing and consider a request to rezone approximately 218 acres of land to Agricultural District AD, more specifically known as Comal County Property Identification Numbers 79001, 78946, 75480, 78247, 79009, and 79006, City of Schertz, Comal County, first reading. Ms. Delgado.
Good evening. So this is for ordinance 24S-157, approximately 218 acres to Agricultural District, Emily Delgado, Planning Manager. So as some background, as City Council all remembers, in July, the City Council approved ordinances annexing and establishing zoning for a little over 3,000 acres of land in Bexar, Comal, and Guadalupe counties. Originally scheduled as part of the larger annexation process, Comal County 79001, 78946, 75480, 78247, 79009, and 79006, based on the request of the property owners, were not annexed at that July 2nd City Council meeting with the rest of the annexation group. The request is to delay the annexation and the zoning of the properties until a development agreement could be drafted and reviewed by City Council. At the July 16th City Council meeting, City Council did approve Resolution 24R81, entering into a development agreement with those property owners for approximately 223 acres. As part of that development agreement, the property owners agreed to have their agricultural land annexed into the City of Schertz and zoned. And at that July 16th meeting, the property identification numbers that you can see here and identified in the ordinance were annexed into the city. However, due to the properties being removed from the zoning ordinances for the rest of the annexation properties, a zoning district was not established at the same time as its annexation. The purpose of this ordinance is to establish a zoning district for the first time for those properties. There's no development planned. It's simply best practice to have a zoning district established when a property is annexed into the City of Schertz. So here are those properties identified in green Here is 35, FM 42, and you can see the tracks here that are proposed to be annexed agricultural district, which is consistent with the rest of the properties except for the one on 10 that were annexed and zoned AD back in July. On September 19th, 9 public hearing notices were sent. We've received 3 responses in favor, signs were placed along the property, and notice was published in the San Antonio Express News as well. And again, here are those properties in AD. So when we look at zoning changes, we look at UDC section 2154D. Number 1, whether the proposed zoning change implements the policies of the adopted comprehensive land plan or any other applicable adopted plans. The proposal is to zone all 218 acres as agricultural district based on the subject property's existing land uses, the property's location, and the designation on the future land use map. The property, they do have differing land use designations. However, the comprehensive land use plan, we really should look at existing conditions, existing land uses, which would all be consistent with the agricultural district. Number 2, whether the proposed zoning change promotes the health, safety, and general welfare of the city. As part of promoting health, safety, and welfare, the city should encourage development compatible with surrounding uses, utilizing standards and transitional uses to alleviate negative impacts. The subject properties, along with the surrounding development, are all utilized for agricultural purposes, and the agricultural district would be the most compatible zoning district. A public hearing notice was mailed to Comal ISD to notify them of the proposed zoning, along with Schertz Police, Fire, and EMS were notified and have not provided any concerns regarding the proposed rezone request or the ability to provide services. And just as a reminder, these properties were already annexed in July, so they're already in the city limits and getting those services. This would just establish a zoning district for them. Number 3, whether the uses permitted by the proposed change will be consistent and appropriate with existing uses in the immediate area. Again, the properties in the immediate area are used for agricultural purposes. These properties are used for agricultural purposes. The agricultural district is the appropriate zoning designation. And number 4, whether other factors are deemed relevant and important in the consideration of the amendment. We have ensured that all UDC requirements have been met, and the subject properties, again, were annexed in July, and at this point have kind of just been in this limbo of no zoning designation established, and really best practice is to have a zoning district. So staff is recommending approval based on the comprehensive land use plan and being consistent with the other properties that were annexed in July. And the Planning and Zoning Commission met on October 2nd, held a public hearing, and made a recommendation of approval with a 7-0 vote. And the property owners are here, no presentation, but they did come in support for the zone change tonight.
All right, thank you. All right, the time is 7:24. This item is on the agenda as an open public hearing. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to address the council in reference to this subject? Going once. Going twice. Public hearing is closed at 7:24. Council, floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Brown.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 24S-157.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilmember Brown and second by Councilmember Watson. Council, any comments? Please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 5 ayes, no objections. Motion passes. If we can just publish the vote, it's not on the screen. I'm not sure if our viewers are able to see it. There it is. All right. We'll move on. Another public hearing. Item number 14, ordinance number 24S-163. Conduct a public hearing and consider amendments to the Public Works Specification Manual, and this is our first reading. Ms. Woodley.
Good evening again. All right, you remember a couple months ago I came and gave you the long, tedious explanation of, and I don't want to do that again, of what we're looking to change in the design guide. So all of the changes are spelled out in the staff report, and so I'm just going to go over the highlights of what we're proposing to change. So once again, I do want to clarify that what we're looking to change is one element of the Public Works Specifications Manual, and that's the Public Works Design Guide. We're not, at this time, proposing changes to the technical specifications or the standard construction details. Changes are needed to those, and we will propose those in the future, but that's not what we're doing this evening. This is the first wholesale update since 2016. It includes a cleanup of typos, inconsistencies, clarification of vague guidance, and most importantly, establishment of increased standards for higher quality, more sustainable infrastructure. There are 7 sections to the design guide. Section 1, general, clarifies the applicability of design standards to public and private development. Section 2 has some minor updates regarding submittals and plan preparation, particularly because everything is digital now, so we came up to date with that. Section 3, street requirements, quite a few updates in this section. For pavement design, we increased design parameters for increased strength of pavement and addressed treatment of subgrade for street longevity. Streets layouts, we made modifications to align with previously updated standards, policies, and other documents such as the Master Thoroughfare Plan, and with updated state statutes. Minimum testing requirements, we're increasing required testing frequencies for roadway construction. Section 4 is storm drainage. We clarified design frequency requirements, added control of a 2-year event. We adopted the NOAA Atlas 14 rainfall data, which accounts for the increased intensity events that we've been seeing. We increased minimum side slopes and other design parameters for enhanced safety and ease of maintenance. We established more conservative calculation criteria in general, and we added explicit requirements for post-development discharge to mimic pre-development flow characteristics. In Section 5, sanitary sewer requirements, we modified that to align with previously updated and enforced standard construction details and practices. In the water requirements section, we modified requirements to enhance redundancy and reliability of the city's distribution system. And we added prohibitions of service connections that regularly cause issues of water quality or increased maintenance needs. In the last section of the guide, we increased testing frequencies for street subgrade and base, so that's covered there as well as in the street section. We updated infrastructure acceptance submittal requirements and brought into alignment with the UDC by citing the 2-year warranty for public improvements. So as far as the implementation, what we're proposing is that the updated guide will be effective immediately upon adoption. However, we will allow for a grace period for projects that are already in process. So any projects for which a preliminary plat is submitted before January 1st of next year, the applicants may design using previous design standards. We'll encourage them to use as much as they can of the new design guidelines, but we will allow for using the older standards. The reason for this is these folks are already in process. They're already talking with engineers. They're already looking for money for their projects. And some of these items do have a fairly significant cost implication. So we want to make sure that the playing field is fair and that they're well aware of what they're getting into. So with that, I'll take any comments or questions. And if you want any further discussion on any of the particular updates, we can talk about that too.
Thank you, Ms. Woodley. All right, it is 7:29. This item is on the agenda as an open public hearing. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to address the council in reference to this subject? Going once. Going twice. Right, it's 7:30. Public hearing is closed. All right, council, floor is open for discussion. I do have a couple comments, Ms. Woodley. You mentioned the implementation is 1 January 2025. Do you think that's enough time for anybody that is working on a plat? I mean, we worked on Main Street for how many years before we got to that point? I'm just wondering whether or not 6 weeks is enough time.
So that is a policy decision for the council. We have been talking about this with the development community for months. I believe our stakeholder meetings were during the month of August, and we haven't made any changes since then.
But in your opinion, is that enough time?
I believe it is, Brian, you want to?
Could you maybe clarify, go back to this link, clarify what would be maybe a little more clearly as to?
Well, just in case, so a project for which a preliminary plat is submitted prior to January 1st. So anything that's already had a preliminary plat in process is absolutely following the old guidelines.
The real
So you
design work, and correct me, where you need the full civils is at the final plat. You need those approved before then.
Right.
So by sort of allowing folks who've had a preliminary plat approved to stay under those, I think we cover your concern, which is somebody's mid-process. If they haven't come in with that yet, they're typically not that far along. So I'm not sure what projects it would really impact that are in the works who wouldn't know that we're in process on this. But let me be clear, you can push this back another 6 months, make it July 1st, you can make it 2026 if you want, January 1st.
No, and I'm concerned because we're coming into the holidays. We're going to lose 2 weeks here. And I think all the professionals are about to lose those 2 weeks because of the holidays. My concern is that, you know, we're really looking at 1 month. Get your stuff in, or you have these new standards that we have in place.
So I think what staff is saying, though, Mayor, and maybe this is clear, maybe our view is slightly different, and certainly we defer to council on this. We didn't set this date to say, hey, folks, rush your stuff in to beat this change that we've been talking about for some time. The way we looked at it is, hey, fair enough, if you've been in process, you've been working on this project, we shouldn't change the rules on you last minute. So that was why we set it the way we did with the preliminary plat. Now, if the concern is, hey, we want to allow folks who want to come in under the old standards to come in under the old standards, then what I would say you do is set it back 6 months, 12 months, and don't put them into effect, and then anybody who's come in with anything before then could fall under. But I think you're right. Staff looked at it as, we're not trying to change rules on you midstream, but what I'm also not doing is saying, hey, if you're thinking about starting a project, let me give you plenty of time to come in under the old regs. But that's a policy decision. And so we'll defer to what council wants to do. If you want to set it for July 1st, 2025, if you want to make it January 1st, 2026, that's fine. But again, the way we've set it is projects for which a preliminary plat has been submitted before that time all go under the old. And really when people are doing these standards, what really affects is at that final plat. So we think there's sort of ample notice for folks to come in because, again, they've known since we did that public input meeting in August that we've been working on this going forward. But you can, again, that was staff's suggestion. We'll defer to council.
Let's hear from council. Councilmember Brown.
Yeah, I think the timeline that you guys suggest is just fine based on just what you're saying there. These folks, this is not a surprise. This is not a, oh my gosh, you know, if you don't get it in, you're going to change everything. You know, they've been part of the stakeholder conferences and talks. The city's been very open with them and not trying to hide anything. It's the talks have been open. I think everybody knows that this is something we need to do, especially in light of some of the recent stormwater drain issues that we've had in the developing areas down south of 78. I think we need to implement things where we can sooner than later. And if you let it go another year, another farmer gets washed out and, you know, I think we're doing the right thing by moving forward.
Councilmember Westbrook, or Mayor Pro Tem Westbrook.
Generally speaking, I sort of agree with Councilmember Brown, and in a general manner speaking, I defer to staff recommendations. But if there's any consternation whatsoever, I'm not in favor of pushing it back 6 months. That seems a little far-fetched to me, but if there's any, I'm not opposed to 3 months. But certainly I'm perfectly fine with January 1, if that's the will of the council.
No, I totally agree. Now I'm just looking at everything that piles up during this time. And even if we move it to February 1st, we give them that extra month to work on it. I'm comfortable with that, giving them, January 31st.
I think likely what you have, if you give them a longer period, we will have people do what you said, which is rush things in to not fall under the current, or the new regs. And so if you're okay with that, doesn't matter staff, but that's likely if you go longer, you're gonna have a bunch of folks who say, let me rush this. I wasn't planning to turn this in for another 4 months. Well, let me get something in, and that, again, nothing
That's
right or wrong.
my only concern, is that this is a holiday season, and, it's just, everything piles up. We see it in our own city, how things are just coming and they come so quick. And then we have professionals that are working on designs and trying to get that final piece in. It's just the time crunches that I'm concerned about. But anyway, Councilmember Brown?
Yeah, I like the way Mr. James said that. Those that are preparing things in a timely manner, that are working on it, they know what their timeline is. But if you say, okay, I'm going to give you an extra couple of months, folks that would have waited until May, June, whatever, may try to rush something in just so that they can save their development dollars by getting in under the wire, with the old standards versus the new standards. So I think we're in a good spot right now. Again, staff has been in talks with all the local developers that have made any mention of potential development, so it's not like we're hiding it from anybody.
No, and I'm not saying that we are hiding. I'm just concerned about the time crunch. All right, Council.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve 24S-163.
Second.
Have a motion made by Councilmember Brown and second by Councilmember Macaluso. Council, any other comments?
Correction on that, that was either Davis or...
Oh, that was Davis? Okay. Excuse me. Councilmember Davis made the second. All right, Council, cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please? We have 5 ayes, no objections, motion passes. All right. Next, we have workshop. Workshop is discussion on future special events and events offerings such as alcoholic beverages. Ms. Schramm.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Mr. Williams. Okay, so I'm here tonight to talk a little bit about some elements of special events, specifically alcohol. I believe there was a couple of questions at a previous workshop on it, so I wanted to give you the history. I wasn't here that day. Heard Brian filled in for me. Hope he did a great job. But anyway, so tonight, just again, some history of alcohol at various events that we've had, some potential for future events. Wanted to talk to you about that, and some new events for 2025. When we had made the decision to cancel Moving on Main while we do the renovation of Main Street, we wanted to come back with you with some more ideas, so that's what we're doing tonight as well. So history, Jubilee, we have had alcohol at Jubilee. 2017 to 2018, HEB was the licensed seller of alcohol. In 2019, they did decline to participate. We, at that time, explored options with a local bar owner, but those negotiations didn't work out. He declined as well. In 2020, as you know, we had our event canceled due to COVID. So then when we came back in 2021, we really started talking about just going BYOB at that time. You can BYOB anytime at the park. That's allowed in our city. And we had a lot of talk about how the previous Jubilees tended to really kind of push alcohol in the past, and we kind of wanted to shift to more of a family atmosphere. Again, BYOB, you can bring it, but we weren't going to sell it and really push it. And so that's what we've been doing the last couple of years, and I think it's worked out pretty well. We have had some businesses that are interested to sell come to us. We did have the Sip It Drink truck come at this Jubilee in last July. They have a storefront over in
UC, I believe. So we had that. At Holidazzle, we have had the tap truck. It's another beer tap truck that comes. It's there in the background. I had a picture there on the bottom. We had them come out to our cornhole league as well. It just really didn't work out for them based on sales. They needed more volume. The events that we were having are a little bit smaller, and so we ended up switching to BYOB at those type of events as well. We've had music and movies in the park where we cater the movie to date night, couples, adults, girls' night out, that kind of a thing. Those movies in the park, we do tend to have some alcohol. We had Free Till Brewing provide free samples in the past. And then, of course, when we had the 60th anniversary on Main Street in Schertz, we did end up hiring a catering company with their own license, and they came in and served beer and mixed drinks for that celebration. So we have had it over the years at various events. Looking to the future, we will come to you in a couple weeks with our Parks Master Plan for your approval, but one of the things that came out of that process that we just completed was the number 2 program people wanted to see was art, music, food festival type events. So we are taking that to heart and looking at future events once Main Street renovation is complete. We think it'd be a great fit down there on Main Street to do something similar to what they have in New Braunfels, the Sanger Fest. We need to find our own unique element. What can we capitalize here in Schertz? What could we call it? A couple things there. Chat GPT spit out for me. So there you go. Schertz Beer and Bites Fest, Main Street Sip and Savor, Schertz Vine and Dine. There's all kinds of iterations we could do, but really focus on the food and wine or craft beer, that kind of a thing. Obviously, there's considerations. We do have to, there's TABC requirements, so we'd have to be making sure that the folks that come in to sell the beer and wine follow. There's a little bit more work that we have to do on our part. If we're really going to have alcohol as a main event element where you're promoting it, we're going to make sure we want to have a lot of messaging on, ride share, don't drink and drive, that kind of thing, have our first aid, all the things we're already doing anyways, but really pushing that so we make sure that our people are safe when they're coming to these events. And then, we're probably going to need to have some increased PD presence and some increased staff if we're going to have that as one of our main event elements. So, and then just to reiterate, I think we all know this, but when alcohol is not a fit, there's a couple of places where it just doesn't work. I know the mayor had mentioned, health and wellness focused events, moving on Main, it didn't really make sense. That was about fitness and things like that. There's some events that are just the short duration that just don't make sense when they're a short amount of time. A business isn't going to make enough profit on that, so it won't work. Those events that we focus solely on children, we have the Glow Party and the Nerf Wars, we're not going to have it for that kind of thing. And then obviously our youth sports events. The ordinance already prohibits, alcohol at our youth ball fields, and that's a good thing. We already have behavior issues, so we don't want those amplified. So some new events, talking about replacements for moving on Main. Something that also came out of the park survey is farmers markets, and I was surprised to see that come out of the survey, but it was the highest rated program that citizens would like to see. So I think, whether that's actual food that farmers, grow, farm to table type thing, but also, your handmade soaps, your bath bombs, crafts, things like that. So we're going to look at putting on some farmers markets, and we'd like to do it at Pickerel Park first Saturday of the month, spring, and then the fall. And then we'd like to also do a Power Wheels race. This is something that we've seen at other cities that has taken off and been very, very popular. We want to do that over in the community circle parking lot back here and set up a little track. And, we think it'll be a great fit for our community and have a lot of attendance. And we want to do that in the spring around the same time we would have done Moving on Main. So April 13th is what we're proposing. And then we want to switch up our aquatic events a little bit. We've been doing National Watermelon Day for a long time, about 6 years now. It's been great, but like we talked about, things kind of get stale. People have been to them over and over. They want something different. So we're thinking about doing a cardboard boat regatta, and other communities have done this as well and been really successful. So those are our ideas, and I will entertain any comments or questions you have regarding event elements and things of that nature.
Thank you, Ms. Schramm. All right, council, floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Brown.
I'll just say those are some, creative events there. Good work on that. I don't have any definitive one way or the other. I think it's great. Let's just keep chugging on and give it a shot.
Great feedback, thank you.
I agree with you on some of these events. Alcohol is just not the place for it. Moving on Main is a fitness type thing, and having someone smoke or drink is not what we're trying to promote in that event. There is opportunities where it will work, but I truly am against any where there's children, where the event is geared towards children and family. I think that's where we need to be very cautious about, and I thank you for bringing that up. All right, Council, any other comments? Mayor Pro Tem Westbrook.
Yep, so you put down some great ideas, appreciate it, but when it goes back to the one of the slides about what is our identity, what did some of your staff say about that? What is our identity?
I think we don't know yet what our unique element is. We need to do a little bit more thinking, and we have a little bit of time. Obviously, we're going to have Main Street under construction for a couple of years, so we want to workshop this a little bit more. We may work it through the Parks Board and kind of get their input and ideas on it, and then bring it back to you again once we're, really have a fleshed out proposal. But right now, I think these are very popular. You go to different cities and they're doing really well, these beer and wine, food festival type things. So the elements are the same, right? But how do you make it unique? How do you draw people? You got to have something catchy. You got to have good marketing. When you're creating something new, it just takes time to get the word out. And if you have something catchy and a really great marketing plan, then it'll be successful. And it's the atmosphere as well. It's sort of the sense of place. When you go to a downtown plaza, it has a different feel. People like doing that kind of a thing. So once our new Main Street is really built out and, beautiful, I think it'll be a great fit to sort of a grand opening of our new Main Street district. So don't have a name yet, but we can work on that.
Thank you.
See no other comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 16, a workshop regarding TCEQ lead and copper rule revisions.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight we're going to be going over the lead and copper rule revisions that were put out by the EPA. In 2021, the EPA announced the new lead and copper rule revisions in an effort to lower the lead and the copper levels in all of drinking water. The goal of this revision was to remove 100% of lead service lines in the distribution systems. On October 8th, 2024, the EPA announced the final lead and copper rule improvements, and I just added a couple more levels there. So the lead and copper rule revision required public water systems to submit a lead service line inventory that was due by October 16th, 2024, to provide notification to customers with lead, galvanized, requiring replacement or unknown service lines within 30 days of the lead service line submission. So where we are now in the water department, an inventory of all 16,201 service lines was submitted to TCEQ by the deadline of October 16. 15,194 of those were verified, with a remaining number of 1,007 service lines classified as unknown or galvanized requiring replacement. Those numbers have changed a little bit. We're down because we pushed a little bit further, squeezed every little day we could. So we got down to about 300 unknown services, and we had about 321 galvanized requiring replacement. The remaining service lines continue to be verified by the water department. Within 30 days of submission, any unknown lead or galvanized requiring replacement service lines must have a mailed notification to the owner, and they will be mailed annually until that line is either verified or replaced. The next steps, a notification will be mailed by the Schertz Water Department beginning the first week of November 11th. Oh, beginning the week of November 11th. We mailed those out this morning, actually. They were due by Thursday the 14th. And like I said here, approximately 600 notices were sent out, around 300 for unknown, and I think the number was 321 galvanized requiring replacement. The remaining service lines are still going to be verified and or replaced. And after that, they'll be removed from the annual notification list. This is a sample of the public notification that was mailed out this morning. And we did provide a couple links here from the state and from the EPO with some EPA fact sheets and stuff like that. And that's all we had on this. We're opening it up for comments and questions.
All right, thank you. All right, council, floor is open for discussion. Any idea when the replacement is mandatory?
Is the replacement mandatory?
Yes. Notification is not mandatory.
The notification
yes.
is mandatory.
But replacement of those lead pipes or galvanized pipes, is it?
If there are lead services found, they are required to be replaced.
Okay.
We sent out notifications to all the galvanized services that we found on the customer side because we cannot prove whether we had lead previously.
Okay.
If we had proof that there was lead, they would have to replace those.
Is there a time limit for replacement?
It's a 10-year replacement.
10 year? Okay. Council? Mayor Pro Tem Westbrook?
You did good. Seemed a little nervous, but you did good.
I'm nervous.
All right, good deal.
No other comments, no other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, we'll move on to item number 17. That is a closed session. The City Council will meet in closed session under Section 551.071 of the Texas Governmental Code for discussion related to the statutory charter election requirements. The time is now 7:53. We will reconvene after our closed session. All right, the time is 8:22. We reconvene into a regular session after our discussion and deliberation of our closed session. Agenda item number 18, reference item number 17, city charter election requirements. Our start time was 8 o'clock, end time was 8:14. At this point, there is no action needed. So we'll move on to item number 19, update on the Beck landfill permit application, and item number 20 is a monthly update on major projects in progress in our CIP. These were information packets that were provided to council and available for public viewing at our website, Schertz.com. Council, any possible updates or information requested from staff? Council, any possible items you'd like to place on the future agenda? Okay, we'll move on then. Announcements by our council members. Mayor Pro Tem Westbrook.
I have nothing.
Councilmember Davis.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Councilmember Watson.
Nothing at this time.
Councilmember Macaluso.
I have nothing to report.
Councilmember Brown.
Attended the Schertz Selma Cibolo Veterans Day ceremony. Always a good turnout there, and thanks for everybody showing up.
With that, it is 8:24. We stand adjourned.